Good morning. How's it all going? I've got the chickens and ducks and rabbits going in here. This is what we've done inside the hoop house. It's been a kind of a chaotic morning. Got a little bit later start than we normally planned and cutting it close. I gotta get to work here in a minute. But what I got is the ducks are already in. Go ahead and let the chickens down. Some of these chickens were in this hoop house last year, so this is not completely new to all of them, but we have a lot of young chickens that have never been up here before. Watch it. BJ. I think they like it. The perches. Go around and open the perch. The chickens, we bring them in here in the winter time. They are just much happier in here in the winter. And then we do deep bedding. We've just got a there's probably about a 6-inch layer already on the ground, and then we added just a couple inch layer of wood chips. This will all get added to over the season, and then we end up using the wood chips and such for compost and then gardens and stuff like that. So it works well. It also this hoop house does not have any heat source, so at nighttime the waters can still freeze. But the nice thing is we get the sun coming from over there every day. By about mid-morning, the waters that they were frozen, they're already thawed back out. So even if they go a short period of time without being able to get water, even on cold days, as long as the sun's out at all, it warms up quite a bit in here. The other thing we can do if we've got to get it warmer, that in there is all closed by either the door or by plastic. All we've done over here is we just put this up real quick. We did this in like an hour. We just threw an old storm door there, made a wall, took an old gate that we had. We already had chicken wire. This chicken wire was on here from last year, and then we hang. This is some of that plastic garden netting, garden stuff. The other thing that saved us some time is when we did this last year, we left all the chicken wire and this plastic netting along the edge. That way we already had kind of our side barriers on here. And those sides, the roll-up sides, they are screwed down to the wood. We also have, I think it's wheat. They'll eat all the seeds. And then this will all be additional bedding. Over here, if we feel like they're still getting, like this here is open to air, and then the little red hen house is primarily open to air. If we feel that they're too drafty, we've got some plastic or some tarps that we can come in here, hang there, basically block everything except the entrance. And we could even make the entrance smaller. We don't plan to put the entrance, like, we don't really plan to close this off at night. This will stay open. That way their nesting boxes are out there. We don't have to do any additional nesting boxes inside. And then the only thing we're moving, instead of having the water barrels on the back, we're just going to take the water barrels and place them in here. We got our water spigot in the back corner, and I've got a heater that we'll put in there. That way our water is good to go. The water that we have back here that the ducks are at right now, that's just a temporary thing because the water barrels were frozen. We've had some pretty cold weather here lately, and because of the cold weather, we kind of caught us off guard. I thought, well, we'll have till like mid-December. It's early December now, and we're trying to rush to get them in here, just because we felt like, especially the younger chickens, they were too cold outside, and doing moves like we do every 3 days, 4 days outside with these is not very fun. So we bring them in here. We'll have them inside the hoop house until, see what the weather does, but probably sometime in March. I don't know. I think that's when we took them out last year, was around March. And if we had to, like when it's really nice days, we get some warm days in like February every now and then. We could even take back here, we could take some electric netting from like that corner, go out and around that tree back behind us and around there, and we could lift some of this up so they could even get outside when it's warmer weather, when we're getting closer to them moving out. But this is our 3rd season doing this, and the chickens continue to lay eggs over the winter. They're much happier. We also left some of the vegetables that were in here. You can see there's tomatoes on the ground, so they're going to get a varied diet. But overall, this system for us in the winter works really well. Takes off some of it makes the chores a little bit easier up here as well. So they're in this is a 20-foot wide hoop house, and it's 60 foot long. I believe the way we have it set up right now, there's only 3 sections missing. So this is 48 foot long by 20 foot wide. We've got somewhere around 110 chickens or so, something like that in here right now. Although we'll be adding to it. We do have chicks in the brooder at all times right now. And then they do have the extra space with the nesting boxes. So my father-in-law had this idea, and I thought it worked out great. By putting the red hen house up to the back and just enclosing everything around it, that meant that we didn't have to build or make other nesting boxes to go inside here, which we had to do last year, and it didn't work very well. We built them really quick, and it didn't work very well. So this is a really good idea. Allows the chickens to have more room. They can get more air if it's a warmer day, and then they've got their nesting boxes, and then we just go outside and collect everything per normal. Over the end of the season, we'll have a lot of chicken manure underneath. I think we're going to add some straw or some wood chips underneath there. And then at the end of the season, when we move this thing out of the way, we'll also have a lot of material there that we can use for compost. Some of the smaller chicks aren't quite ready to get out of there. We didn't have cardboard in there. It was just shoving. There was a little spot that we had a gap. We had to shove some cardboard in there so the chickens couldn't get out. But yeah, they seem happy. I think they'll really like it when we spread this out a little bit, give them even more bedding. I think they'll be really happy with that. And the chickens will stay in here for the next few months. So I guess in recap, that's kind of how we utilize our hoop house in the winter. We could add heat to it, a heat source, and try and do everything and try and do more produce starting earlier in the spring, but this also works really well for us as well. So the chickens and the ducks and the rabbits, they're in a much better, more climate controlled. They don't get all the wind. They can go into the little red hen house to get more breeze if they need it. There is room, there is airflow, but it's not like them being outside. So it's a nice environment for them, and we'll just continue doing a deep bedding method until the end of the season. So they'll be in here till roughly March or so. But thanks for watching. You'll have a good one.